In From the Depths, there is one weapon I absolutely adore, but am absolutely dreadful with, and that is the humble yet brutal CRAM cannon. This thing can easily split a boat in half if it's set up correctly as a Doom CRAM, only firing once every few minutes, but in normal use it can be set up with fragments, with EMP, with high explosive, kinetic damage. There's a lot of ways to use this seemingly simple cannon, yet I can never get them to work properly. The drawbacks for them are that they are easily countered by lots of different types of munition defense, and they are incredibly slow, meaning that shell is likely to miss anything which is moving at even a snail's pace. That being said, every time I see them use against me, they absolutely devastate me, so today we're going to be doing a challenge run where we're going through the adventure mode, hopefully all the way to difficulty 100, and the rules are as follows. I am only allowed to use CRAM cannons to deal direct damage to foes. All damage dealt must be from CRAM cannons, that means no ramming the target. However, the only rule I will bend a little bit is that in terms of damage dealt, I will allow a little bit of ram damage if I'm using missiles to distract enemy missiles, because they don't actually explode, dealing damage to them, but they do a little bit of ram damage if the missiles happen to hit each other, and if I accidentally ram into a target, as long as it is very clearly accidental. Everything else, so the vast 99% majority, will be CRAM cannons, and hopefully using a wide variety of them. Fragment, EMP, high explosive. I want to try and use everything and try and get better at the game. So with that, any predictions in terms of the difficulty I get to are very welcome in the comments below. How far do you think I'm going to get before being utterly destroyed in this challenge run? And so begins our cram-tastic journey. So straight away, of course, what we need to do is focus on how we're going to be designing the start of the craft, with a very big importance on adding our very first CRAM cannon. So what I could do is start off in the air and really focus on just a spinal mount weapon, but instead I instantly want to become a true boat, because what I normally do is I go with a basic airship to begin with, because in my opinion, especially in the earlier game, that's the easiest thing to do. But for once, I actually want to build a battleship, because I never end up building a battleship, I always end up in the air. So let's just see how this thing goes. Probably don't want it much bigger than that. Now with CRAM cannons, there is only one pre-built, which is the Bertha, and that is not the best? It's not the worst, and it only costs 2,725, but I do want to make my own version. It'll probably honestly be worse than the Bertha, since I haven't played around CRAM cannons in a long time, but still. So I'll be back once I've actually built something which looks vaguely vehicle-shaped. So at the moment, it's a 21-second reload, 11,000 damage in fragments, 11,000 damage in explosive, and I'm setting up to have time from launch and a light targeter, which basically means it will detonate when it thinks it should have already hit the enemy. So if it misses, there's a chance some of the damage will still land. At the moment, it's floating incredibly well, it's made out of pure wooden armor, and actually that's something I really want to go forward with in this run. I want to go with alloy armor over metal. This means our vehicle will be a bit weaker to pretty much everything, but it will float by itself, meaning that I don't need to waste battery power for that stuff, I can waste it on more firepower. It looks truly bizarre at the moment. Let's try and sort out the back section as well, and then let's try and make this thing float a bit less well, which is weird to say, but basically what I'm saying is we need a keel, because otherwise we are not going to be able to move. What's with the weather? Look at that wave! The likelihood of hitting this shot is very low. The enemy's been moving around quite randomly, and I fired a bit early. When things first spawn in, they're not moving, and then of course when they start moving... Oh, saying that... just about missed. Really expected some damage there, but apparently not. Good to know for the future. Trying to hit these small targets is incredibly difficult. There we go, finally. Once again, though, not exactly a hit. There is a resource zone, though. I'll be using that in order to make myself a bit more ship-like. At the moment, we are just a floating raft of doom. Oh, and there's another enemy way off in the distance. So one big weakness of CRAM cannons is that honestly, over long ranges, they can find difficulty in actually hitting the target. Anything that's moving rapidly or even just changing direction a little bit, the CRAM cannons, even with their large explosion radius, can suffer. So we want to be quite close to the enemy. One way we could potentially do that is this, by installing a submarine mode. Now, normally submarines are really overpowered in this mode because a lot of things can't see you. But please bear in mind that I want to be made out of wood or alloy, so right now I'm using up so much power forcing this thing under the water. But also, I can't fire back. I don't have missiles, advanced cannons, any type of weapon which is particularly good through the water. My shells are slowed down to basically a crawl. So it's a completely defensive measure, not something we can really actively rely on all the time. For now, it's just there as an emergency get away from the enemy, or get close enough to start brawling if the enemy is really long range, or has a lot of laser systems. I mean, that is genuinely creepy, right? Just out of the water, that thing. Do kind of love that. When the weather's this bad, it's actually easier to go underwater, at least for the time being, even though it does start to drain my battery, since I do not have very good engines at the moment. And honestly, I don't plan on having very good engines, I just plan to use this mode very, very, very sparingly. But still, nice to know I can hide the waves. So we are now in difficulty 5, I am instantly looking for a red portal, because we are way too expensive to be here. Ooh, mortar shells, I think. Okay, I need to get back onto the water just because I can't even move at the moment because of the weather. Ooh, a lovely hit though. 22,000 explosive damage, 15,000 kinetic, and looks like we've hit it directly in the weapon. Do we manage to dodge the shells? Yes, good. I can't wait to spend more time above the water. At the moment I am losing energy. In fact, I am now using up all of my engine power, so I can't even move quickly. But I can't really move above the waves at the moment, so yeah, kinda stuck like this. Looks like we've pretty much got the kill though, it's flipped the enemy and taken out its weapon. And ducking meant we dodged their shells, great. Let's move on to difficulty 15, there's a portal there, and if we're lucky, we can go out of this horrible storm. Well, that was beautiful. We had to take a few hits there. I have been trying to just duck out of the water to shoot at this thing, then duck back. This thing was actually more expensive than me to begin with, but it was just so difficult to land any hits on. The only way it stabilizes enough to actually land is when it fully targets us and starts moving towards us, so I will have to take a few hits each time, but hopefully our damage outdoes theirs. In fact, looks like I may have taken them out of the sky. Ooh, I wonder what I actually took out then? Engine or something? Oh, yeah, I'm seeing engine parts. We took out the engine. Oh, now it's in the water. It's in danger. Let's get nice and close. Now, what were you fighting? Hello, friend. You are the Claymore, something which also costs more than us. If that was an EMP shot, we probably could have just taken that in one hit. Knocked out a couple of weapon systems and carved out a lot of the core. I'm imagining the AI is somewhere here. Yeah, in this big metal box in the middle, I guess. Oh, now that's a scary thing to see. Okay, start increasing our altitude. We're going to want to fire at that as soon as possible. While it's distracted by another target. Oh, it instantly killed the target. Well, that's worrying. Please don't go too far away. Please hit. Okay, a good hit in fact. 50k damage from explosive, 44,000 from kinetic. Is that targeting us or nope, going straight into the water? Perfect. We are a horrible creature. We are the nightmare of the deep. That thing over there costs 120,000, but almost all of its damage is coming from its front gun. There. Ooh, that was... Wow, wait a second, did that actually take out the other gun as well? One of the fragments must have just pierced it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Glaive. Yeah, that was like 40,000 resources just gone. Sometimes a shot's just good. Okay, after this fight, we'll be going to difficulty 20, and I'm going to be doing some major retrofitting, adding some actual turrets to this craft, and turning it into more of a brawler. At the moment, obviously, it's an assassination vehicle, which has been surprisingly effective with CRAM, which I guess makes sense now I'm thinking about it with the burst damage, but still, what we really want to make it into is a true brawler with proper turrets, and a lot more armor, and actual alloys over wood, loads of stuff we need to change. It's been a cowardly first half to this, first few difficulties of this run. I want to be less cowardly, though I will still be keeping that submarine mode, because using only CRAM makes me very scared of a lot of designs. The point defense apparently isn't quite enough for this fight. Sorry, Glaive. You cost way more than me, and you're gonna fuel my advancement. Technically, we did some ram damage there, but bear in mind that was after the enemy was already too low health and self-destructing, so I don't count that as a violation of the rules. It was just annoying I couldn't stop fast enough. I'm still seeing fragments. Why am I seeing fragments? Okay, there's a flyer. Turn around, go after that. I need some time for some peace so that I can start retrofitting the craft. At the moment, we can't really fight things one-on-one like this. We're just not designed for it. Our weapon fires too slowly. It's been designed pretty much completely for that one initial shot. What is happening? Go down. Thank you. I think the wave caught me on the side, so I kind of like attached to it then. That was really bizarre. Anyway, we need to make the craft taller, wider, so it's more stable actually on the waves. And then we need turrets, and we need the weapons, yeah, just to be way taller so we can fire over them. At the moment, if we're on the water versus another thing on the water, neither of us are hitting each other very well. Oh, it's the Marlin. I haven't seen one of you in a while. I really do love the Deepwater Guard flyers. Okay, should be able to fire again. But yeah, the weapon currently has a 40-second reload, that's why it hits for so much, but that's just not good enough in a brawl. The first hit hits for a ton, but if it misses, I'm so vulnerable, I'm basically out of the fight. I can't... I'm too buoyant! Why is the weather so consistently bad in this run? Okay, that wasn't too good a hit, but at least we scraped off some armor. Now that was better. Exploded just underneath it. Looks like we took out most of the armor. Nope, the CRAM cannon as well has been severely damaged. Okay, and by the looks of things, either one of the jets or one of the steam engines. I think that's one of the jets. Good. Oh! Now that was a shot, we were so close to it, it was actually firing at us even while underwater, but that CRAM shot just tore through it. And that's why fragments can be really good sometimes. If a few get into the enemy, they can just devastate everything. Difficulty 25, currently a nice and peaceful start. So I've removed the main gun at the front, and I've added these 3 turrets. These are much smaller than the main gun used to be. The main gun was, I think, twice the size of these, so we can afford quite a few of them. They do still pack a punch, I think close to 40,000 damage each, pure high explosive, and just over 20 seconds reload time. We're going to have 2 more, one here and one here, and I can't wait until the weight is more balanced, because right now it's making me feel all sorts of nauseous. So, gonna turn this into a proper ship, slowly. And pointily. Okay, this ship ambushed us out of nowhere, so we're getting revenge. This is the Stalwart from the Onyx Watch. Lots of CRAM cannons. Lovely, 192,000 damage. We are now, of course, being attacked back. Can't wait until we turn all our weapons into AI weapons, so I don't have to try and manually fire them every single time I'm waiting for them to reload and guess when that reload's done. So I can't just hold down fire, because that'll mess things up. Oh, lovely! It's now turned away from us to try and get further away. Definitely just shot myself then, because I don't have firing constraints currently. I'm not ready for a fight, is what I'm saying, and looks like we win either way. That first attack seems to have just utterly devastated them. That front weapon's currently peeking out, so if we can fire there, that'd be great. Lovely. Okay, I'm pretty happy with these shells, considering these are pretty small CRAM cannons, all things considered. Yeah, decently happy. The next CRAM cannon I make will be a multi-barrel. I'm not sure if it's safe for me to fire right now. Good. Okay, first victory in 25. Let's, plug up all these holes, shall we? Some of you may have noticed I've swapped the material for the main craft quite a few times, and the way to do this is to go into construct information by pressing V when you're looking at your craft, and then you can change things around, and I still can't decide between alloy and metal. So with metal, it costs us to stay in the water, and we are vulnerable to being sunk, whereas with alloy, it costs us more to go underwater, but we are a lot lighter, and therefore faster, and it costs us nothing to stay above the water. In fact, it floats by itself. But it also makes us more vulnerable to taking hits, because alloy is significantly weaker than metal, and I can't decide between the two. Actually, it's not as significant as I originally thought. So it's 40 armor versus 35, and for a single block it's 300 versus 350. I can't decide between metal and alloy, to be completely honest. Unsurprisingly, this thing is faster than us. Now it's getting closer though, we are scoring some actual hits, which is nice. Yeah, these CRAM cannons are fairly weak, but that's why we can have so many of them. Definitely going over quantity over quality here. Detection system's doing alright, not perfect, but this is a bouncy enemy using CRAM cannons, so I can't fault it too much. Ah, some more hits in the middle, please, would be great. Oh, or like that, just went underneath the target, detonated, and completely destroyed one of its main weapons. And two more underneath as well. Beautiful. That's a very expensive enemy, and we are victorious using the AI. Very happy with that. Now I'm nervous. My shells are currently not set up to really withstand any form of munition defense, and this thing is the Alcazar, which I'm fairly certain has a very decent set of munition defense. Please be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I am not wrong. Darn it. So, I can either, on the fly, try and change some of these CRAM cannons and make them have some hardener pellets to absorb that energy damage, or we can try and overwhelm them but just keep on firing, or we can run away because I can go underwater and I don't think the Alcazar can see underwater. Okay, does it have any weak spots? Where? Okay, so these are the... No, where are the, You know what? I actually don't know what they look like anymore. What do the laser defenses actually look like now? Because they've changed all the models since the last time I used them. I'm blind. I cannot find it. Ah, there it is. Okay, well, at least now we can figure out where they are. Although, I did actually just get a single hit, which is quite nice, while I was trying to look for that. Will we get another is the question. Maybe it's just a matter of draining that thing's battery. We really need to fix this. The fact we nose up every time we exit the water means it takes forever for me to aim again. Kinda ruins the whole element of surprise sudden attack thing, you know? Okay, that one almost hit again. I think just overwhelm it might be the way. So... well, that was odd. I think that one's damaged. We've ended up getting up pretty much point blank, because I think this is a little bit of a blind spot for the enemy. So if I can just keep on firing through here, if we get any decent luck, we'll actually hit some of their guns. Please shoot those advanced cannons, I beg. Just move back a little bit here, change our positioning. If I manually fire, I might end up shooting myself. I don't have the firing constraint set up properly just yet, but still. Worth it. 100% worth it. There we go. One more of the advanced cannons gone. I thought our CRAM cannon was broken. Apparently not. Just slowly taking off all its weapons at this point. So the fight has pretty much almost ended up as a standstill. I have one weapon left, the enemy has none, so we've just about won, but this is taking forever. Thankfully, they will be worth an absolute fortune, and probably enough for us to get to the next difficulty. This has proven, though, I need at least some shells with the hardener pellets. The hardener pellets increase the physical damage of a CRAM shell, but also drastically increase their health. That way we can siphon off a lot of the damage of munition defense, especially like lasers. Victory! I started realizing I should be firing into the enemy craft, and then suddenly it flew when it got destroyed. Oh, that's a lot of resource. Okay, well, we're going to need a lot of repairs. Thankfully, we're also in a resource zone. I've learned a lot of things from that fight, and hopefully we can take that forward with us. Oh, I was really concerned then, but that just took out its AI. What a surprisingly perfect shot. Now in difficulty 30, originally I was going to add 2 more of the small cannons, but instead I've cleared out this space. I think I need to clear out a little bit more, and I'm going to be adding a 3-barrel CRAM cannon. I actually basically built one of these recently, like last week, while I was doing some testing, so I should be able to just put that straight in there and just make some small modifications to it. That way, that should massively increase our damage potential, because the cannon I have currently, 3 barrels, each barrel shoots a 60k damage shell. These are currently doing around about 40,000 each, so yeah, much more power for the ship. And I can also change one of them to be a hardener pellet-based shell to try and absorb some of that point defense and all the munition defenses and everything else. And eventually, it'll stop looking like an arrow/Death Star. Death Star? Star Destroyer? I'm very tired. Okay, nice enough. Really should think about swapping over now into the shells which go into the target, but still, that'll do just fine. I won't be collecting this resource zone. I am, in fact, heading towards the next red resource zone. I'm going to completely armor this thing up and then go to 35 because our cost has got a little bit high. The rules in my head, and I think I'll probably mention them at the start, is that I don't want to go above the maximum cost of each difficulty, at least according to this graph, which may be outdated now, but it's still a decent enough line of reasoning, that at difficulty 30, the highest cost is 350, and the average is 1,840,000. I'm somewhere like 240 at the moment, which is the average of the next difficulty, so we're going to try and move on to there, just to make sure we don't just overpower things by sheer cost. Excuse me, I was still very much working on our craft. Oh, I've deleted the ammo storage! I have deleted the ammo store. I just need to do that to refill what we actually have. I mean, that's a lot of confetti we're causing there. Please hit the core a little bit more. Try and get this thing into the water. Currently, that turret can't turn, so I can't really move right now. Otherwise, I can't use the weapon I just pasted in. Which does need to be worked on, by the way. I checked the Tetris and I needed to do that better. There we go. Tip away. 303,000 damage there. And even in our unfinished state, goodbye to the enemy. I do love the design of that thing, by the way. It's got like a globe in the center. It's really cool. Okay, well, some extra resources. Great. Okay, our first fight in difficulty 35. Okay, manually fired all those. Let's take a look-see at how they land. Not bad at all. I wish there was a bit more spread, but I guess that's my fault for manually firing them all, but damaged the barrels and the main gun, and took out what I think is an advanced cannon. Okay, cool. AI control given back to the side weapons, but I do want to control the main weapon still. Okay, that's turning to broadside, isn't it? I'm almost certain it is. The smaller cannon there than that large cannon. That large cannon's probably got a lot of armor. And, well, not really a good hit either. Oh, it has more guns on the back than I thought. I thought it might have one or two. I just bounced. I just bounced horribly. Why did I bounce? Hello, can I please... Okay, cool. Let me just get back in my seat. Oh, no, the AI was just taken off. Okay, so now we are full manual control, which really isn't that good for us, honestly. Oh, those shields helped out a lot then. Wow. I did not notice how coated this thing was in shields until just this moment. That thing's just too heavily armored. The main gun is obviously the scariest, but it's so well armored. Whereas that, I think we probably just took it out. For the most part, either completely taken out or mostly. Note self, the AI room clearly needs more protecting. This is how we need to build our turrets. Look at that, just the vertical beams and the wedges. Is that enough? Can we now move on to another weapon? I don't know. The turret caps are so sturdy. Look at the sheer damage we're pumping into this thing. There we go. Goodbye, finally. Maybe I should start focusing on the neck of this thing now. The neck, the innards. Thinking about the turret neck so much there. Think I just hit myself. That's why manual control is not good for this craft. Oh, yep, there we go. I can see your insides. Ooh, that main gun can do some serious damage. There goes one of the steam engines. Hopefully that'll cause the shields. Yep, the shields are instantly faltering now. Oh, stop hitting me. So is its movement, so it can't avoid us. And AI dead, we have a victory. Not a clean fight. Not a clean fight by any means, but at least we were victorious against a ship which is similar to us in terms of its purpose. See, this is how I want to end up looking a lot more thick at the front, rather than the kind of pointed edge we have at the moment. Yeah, we need more hardener pellets. We already have mixed in a few of some of the smaller turrets, but I just saw a lot of those shells being obliterated. I mean, still a couple are hitting, but nowhere near enough. Oh, I think I may have actually just taken out one of its point defense weapons. Perfect. There we go. Lots of beautiful hits there. 302,000 damage. Let's see what we've done. Okay, I've carved out into its innards over there. Yeah, we definitely took out something over there. Kind of wish we were hitting here more, but... okay, yep, definitely making it a lot more vulnerable. I think without the hardener pellets, the shots wouldn't be hitting at all. Originally, the back weapon had something like 60, 70,000 damage per shell, but yeah, that's gone down to only 50,000 because I've mixed in more kinetic damage, which is kind of useless with the type of shell I'm currently using, but it also means more of the shells are actually hitting. Beautiful, yep, another 244,000, things are looking pretty bad for it. engines are damaged, it can't move, it can't fire at me since I'm on the other side of it. Perfect. As you can tell, I'm now busy trying to widen the front of this craft. Obviously, it's not done yet, and looks very, very odd. So if things could please stop attacking me, that would be great. I want to retrofit the shape of this thing, then I'm going through a red portal. I'm purposely avoiding the resource zones again at the moment. Lovely. The Dawn Cutter. Okay, got a few hits there after I stopped watching, naturally. Was it meant to dive like that? I'm assuming yes. Oh, well, it's damaged one of our barrels, which is really annoying. Or at least one of the connections. Haven't finished armoring up that back section. It's not really a shock, but still very annoying. Okay, it's not looking like it's moving correctly. I'm assuming I've broken something. It also tried to portal then, and it didn't quite work out. So we've broken the back jet. It looks like some of the engine's been damaged as well. Oh, red portal! I've been looking for you. Great, we can actually go to the next difficulty after this fight. Fantastic. I must have drove right past it while I was working on the armor. Lovely. Please hit that again, that'd be great. I wonder if it's meant to be using a particle cannon when it does that little dive and stare, but it's not working, or maybe it's the missiles? Oh, it could just be these railguns at the front. Just have a lot of weaponry, it's just a big block of heavy armor. It costs about the same as us, actually. And we are much bigger, it's just much higher quality. What have you done to my main gun? Yes, hit it while trying to turn, that's what I wanted to see. Another 173,000 damage, lots of jet components. Oh, yeah, particle cannon, excellent. So it did have a particle cannon somewhere. Unless that was decoration, looks like both its main back jets are gone. Or at least damaged. A gentle splish into the water. And that's it done. Okay, nice fight. Scored a few hits early on, which really helped. We hit the jet, which really helped, and then we hit the engines. Nice. And now we can go to difficulty 40. Good to see we're still fighting things of our cost, though. I was a little bit worried we're a bit too low difficulty, but apparently the game's fine with this. So welcome to difficulty 40. We have the Javelin here with its massive missiles versus a really, really awesome twin guard unit. The Javelin is also awesome, but this thing is bizarre. So it's using its sword as munition defense. If things get close enough, it attacks with the sword, and I think it's using the particle cannon in order to stop the missile. Though I think those missiles may be slightly broken from the damage it's done before. And then the sword heals by using the main body, since the sword itself is actually a separate vehicle. Now, we are really far away, so my shots aren't exactly the most accurate, but this has been a really fun fight. It's always nice when two things spawn in at once. And they hate each other. We should get a good hit, though. Yeah, even slight movements at this distance is making the shots not exactly pinpoint. Well, after a few good hits, the weapon itself is gone, the sword armor is completely obliterated and was unable to be healed, and now we're carving through the internal armor. This thing is just a big floating block of armor, which makes me wonder, are the legs a turret? Or are the legs a separate vehicle? It's hard to tell. No, I think it's all just one vehicle. And then the weapon arm was a separate. Oh, it defeated its first target, now on... Oh, well, I was about to say now it's versus us, but actually looks like there's one more vehicle now entering the fray, yet again.
Engaging now.
That's way too fast. While it's not targeting us, I'd love to try and hit it at least a couple of times. Please stop going for the twin guard craft. Now I really don't want that thing to be dead. If we can get a couple hits on this thing, which by the way looks really cool, that would be wonderful. Difficulty 40 so far has been really mad. We hit the vehicle once. Oh! Wow, what a way to change targets. Must have gone straight into its core with those few hits. Yeah, a couple of hits back to back just opened up this cavity, and clearly the AI was right there. Yeah, we managed to hit this once on the side, and it kind of caused it to spin out, so now it's a much easier target.
Engaging now.
What a fun welcome to difficulty 40. Next fight in difficulty 40, we have the Paladin. Scored a few good shots early on, but now it's turning, we're missing a few. Okay, good, good, good. Outer armor starting to weaken, we so far haven't lost a gun. So if we can keep this up, we should be victorious. Really need to make stronger shells soon. Yep, still looking good. The front armor's been sheared off our craft, but that's because it's not finished yet and literally is just one layer. Just keep on hitting. The heavy armor is proving to be a problem, but still. I wish we'd just hit a weapon, though. We're hitting the center over and over again, but a good shot on one of the weapons. There we go. One of them turned off. How are we looking? Yep, still no guns lost. These two new guns can't actually rotate yet, and after these two, I will be adding more larger guns. These are going to be the last two of the smaller ones. These things are so cheap, but they're so easy to place. And they do a decent-ish kind of hit. We're now at over 1 million damage done versus the Paladin. Looks like really only the front gun's still causing us problems. If we can hit that, it's game over. There goes the back turret. Or if we can just get a little bit further in the core now. Definitely done a better job armoring up since the earlier design versions. None of the turrets are gone still. Goodbye to the Paladin. Welcome to 45, and by the looks of things, a melee vehicle. Not nice to see barreling towards us. Please start scoring some hits. That was lovely. Okay, so one of the weapons got removed there, and wow, sprayed shells absolutely everywhere. This is the section we need to take out, though, that front bit. If it hits us with just metal, it's going to hurt itself. I've done over 200,000 damage to it, but yeah. Maybe I should manually fire now I think about it. Again, ow, that's gonna hurt so much. Great shot there though by us, and again. Oh, look at that, we've got into its internals. So it's broke through, thankfully missing both turrets. We've hit through here, and then detonated the inside of the craft. By the way, that wasn't our EMP, I think its own shells just basically broke itself for us. Speaking of which, we really should use some EMP. I've been trying to add more hardener pellets over and over again, but yeah. Also, we're too expensive. We're in 45 now, but we need to get to 50. I'm not purposefully getting this expensive. I've been ignoring every single resource zone. It's just we're a slow vehicle. We're actually kind of a half a vehicle at the moment, and we keep on getting into fights, which means we have loads of resources. So I will continue forwards, building up this deadly, deadly bathtub. So, this thing's a lot of particle cannons, all on a really weird-looking frame, and I think it is absolutely fabulous. Oh, these are healing things. Is this meant to create units as well? Oh, that's worrying. I wonder if it's going to start making things when it gets closer. Really cool, though, and this is the Galaxy. Thankfully, although it does have a munition defense, it seems like we're overwhelming it at the moment, so that's all well and good. As long as the majority of the shots get through, that's all that really matters. Oh, please take out this turret. Just a few more hits on the front of that would be great. Okay, our damage actually isn't too bad. Ooh, that didn't fire at me. What did it fire at instead? Is that Steel Striders or Grey Talons? It's hard to tell at this distance. Okay. Oh! You see, this is the kind of thing I was thinking of for our vehicle, honestly, if we ever turn it into a aircraft. Okay, you're less scary than the particle cannon, honestly, so I think we'll continue against the particle cannon for now. Although, the cannon isn't firing at us anymore, so actually, no, we should probably swap. We've already done a lot of damage against it, so a few hits on the side section of this would be great. This fight is lasting so long. Everything has munition defense. I know I've said it a million times now, but everything does. We are slowly weathering them away. The newest vehicle, the not Scarlet Dawn, the Steel Strider one is now half flipped over since we started scoring some good hits. This one is damaged, and hopefully we can score some hits now. Yeah, now it's closer, we're getting a lot of hits in, and it's already starting to roll, and into the water it goes. Fantastic. Okay, change targets again. 2 out of 3 down. The last one is completely flipped over. Yeah, I think its steam engine went pretty early on, and as a result, it's upside down.
Engaging now.
Which means we won't be able to see it too well. We do have sonar on our craft, but yeah, they won't make us particularly accurate. Still, I am very happy with how well this thing can just take a few punches. It's just tanky. Lots and lots of stacked armor and enough air gaps that Hesh and heat shouldn't be too much of a problem. I didn't do that. Did you just shoot yourself by mistake? Did one of your guns just clip yourself? No. Oh, did you originally have a drone? Did you just shoot a drone? That might be what just happened, and that's why there's a resource blob left over. Yeah. Okay, good to know. Currently, we have way too much resource, and as usual, we're looking for a red portal. Or blue at this point. I will take a blue portal, which will really skyrocket the difficulty, but we are way too ahead resource-wise at the moment. I think we cost something like 500k right now, and I haven't even spent the 180 we have in storage. Admittedly, I always want around about 50 to 100k in storage just for repairs and ammo and everything else, but yeah, way too expensive for the difficulty we're in now. No munition defense. It's beautiful. Oh, AI dead. Oh yeah, we crushed all the way through. I'm guessing this was the AI room. It has heavy armor, some rubber, so yeah. Okay, portal, please. That's a green portal. It's the opposite of what I want. Oh, I must have went past a red one ages ago. Is that underwater? I just saw it for a second. Maybe I'm going mad. Maybe there wasn't even a portal then. I wish you could summon portals. Ah, whoa. Nice missile, but we have lots of armor. Stop. Please. You're already dead. Like I've said before, I am allowing myself to use the sandbox mode. I'm just using it sparingly, so it's majorly discouraged, and I think this is the time we need to use it, because right now, there's just no decoration on this craft, there's no paint or anything else, it is just a bathtub which is doing well, but a bathtub nonetheless. And if you look at the internal armor, brace yourselves, some of the sections are... Oh my god, I didn't even layer this up. You can see that it's not done yet. The back section is far better than the front, but the front, you can see the layers of the old ships. This all needs to be removed and replaced. It's really boring and really long-winded, and I can't do this without being attacked so much, I'm stacking too much resource. So I do believe that doing this in the sandbox mode quickly is probably more difficult, because I'll get less resources. So, I'll be right back once I've made some changes. I'm also going to be removing this front gun and replacing it with another gun I was working on yesterday, which is based on one of the Plunderer's guns. So it's just 3 barrels, but much smaller than the large guns at the back. Because I'm getting sick of just having the same gun over and over, occasionally with detection systems. So these are pure kinetic and EMP. Nothing else, no fuses, which means they should have a lot of health. Okay, one still survived, even with all that point defense. So it's gone through multiple blocks, and what should happen, if I'm correct, is that whatever block finally stops it, that's where all of the EMP will actually be delivered. Still going. Okay, it's going a lot further than I expected, gotta be honest. Still... He went through the target. Did I do too much kinetic and not enough EMP? Okay, this time one of them almost immediately delivered the EMP, which means it must have hit a nice chunk of armor. Yep. And I don't really know where the other one's gone. Still, the main purpose for that weapon is just to distract the enemy munition defense, since they have like 40,000 health per shell, whereas the explosive ones have about 10,000. Yeah, I mean, destroyed a lot of blocks, destroyed some of the internals, that's lovely. Now, another thing we could do is depth fuses, and rather than EMP, go something like fragments. So the kinetic goes inside, then bang, fragments absolutely everywhere, shredding the internals. The internals, not the eternals. Well, that was lovely. They completely survived the enemy munition defense. They've gone inside the target before detonating, and they have ripped apart laser defense and jet engines. I wanted to test against something bigger, like the thunderclap, and that was a lovely test. So they were set to time since first impact. So they hit the outer layer, and then after 0.05 seconds, they detonated, and look at what the fragments have done. Just gaps everywhere. If that hit some of the jets facing down, or managed to hit the AI, that could have caused major problems. I mean, it's definitely caused problems, but could have done even better. $164,000 damage. I don't think it's sinking. Not entirely sure what it's hit. Looks like some AI stuff. Oh, definitely AI stuff. And an ammo customizer. Oh, am I wrong? Is it sinking? And it's sunk. 3 shots and the thunderclap goes down. Yes, we're sticking with this gun. Now, of course, the main negative of this gun is it does require a direct hit to do anything. If it misses even slightly, it's doing nothing. That's why we're not going to rely heavily on that type of weapon, but occasionally, it's going to score a hit like that, and everything's going to be better. Well, not 100% sold on the colours, but this is what we're going to go with at the moment. So like a really pale violet, or lilac even, for the highlights here, and then a very dark grey for the main body, and then any extra highlights. I'm going with a very kind of sandy gold. It's weird, but I didn't want to copy the other designs I've done before in the past, and also the actual fleet colours of the other empires, so this is kind of what we went with. I do like it, but thankfully it's very easy to change, so now I've put down all the paint, I can just change the specific colours of any of the paints at any time, so if I change my mind, this won't be permanent. I do like it, I do, I'm just not sure about it. Converting it now into its newest version, then we'll go straight into difficulty 50. Really, I want to rush it to difficulty 55. At that point, if I take a look see at the graph, yeah, the cost is a lot more reasonable for us. With the average being 500,000, we're currently something like 590, so that's reasonable enough. Okay, difficulty 50. So the next thing we need to do is add a new engine. I have loads of space for it. Honestly, I have loads of cavities currently empty on this thing. This thing is big, but it is mostly air pockets. Just remember that when you see the size of this thing. It's currently around about 600,000 cost, and not the most efficient 600,000, and yeah, we need a new engine because this thing right now is really struggling with the RTGs we have, and by selling all the RTGs we'll have a massive cash infusion as well, which will massively reduce the cost of the actual vehicle. Even though it will mean I'll be starting to burn materials to move, we just need that for such a big craft. And by the very end, what I would love, just absolutely love, is a better steam engine with a propeller attached. So that's the end movement. The only reason I haven't done it currently is because I'm constantly expanding the back. Obviously, I've built kind of half a craft at the moment, and extending that each time would just be really annoying. So for now, spam propellers. Really need to flip that back gun. Originally I wanted this to be more broadsidey, but instead I think it's more facey forwardy. Which is definitely a correct sentence. Got close enough, this thing's running away. No, don't target the little drones! Note to self, change the AI. Bigger targets first. Oh, what a waste of that alpha strike when I just arrived. That is so annoying. There we go, one of the fragment shots went inside there on the smaller ones. The very front gun is now also a fragment gun, but it's focused more on kinetic, so it has a load of health. There we go, that pretty much turned off the enemy. A really small enemy for difficulty 50. Well, 50 ended up being quite an easy difficulty in the end, which was interesting. Please don't waste ammo on the small drones. Let's go to difficulty 55, please. Difficulty 60, and we're up against something terrifying, so much so I kind of panic dove under the water. These shells are nasty, and they're railguns, and they were just shredding my armor, and this thing is covered in them. It's also very, very expensive, so this is going to be interesting. I don't know if getting closer is really going to help, so I'm going to resurface, and as soon as we're above the water, for the most part, I'll turn back on the AI. Please hit. Just please. I need this first attack to land. I mean, some of it did. I think it took out one of the guns. Okay, so it bounced a little bit low, but that shredded the underside and destroyed the turret. The problem is the CRAM, yeah, these are probably the fragment CRAM shells. Didn't really do much there. I saw no fragments going off. It's so low in the water, it's really causing an issue to hit it with these shells. Still, one gun down is nice, so that it's damaging our barrels, even through all the heavy armor of the caps. Here's hoping the rest can compensate for that. If we can take out the other gun, then this is going to be a lovely fight. Okay, that was a fragment shot that went off. The very front gun's also a fragment, and it looks like a couple more have entered and detonated, damaging the engine. Hopefully it's fully disconnected. Oh, it has missiles. And damaging some of the missile systems. Okay. Not quite the gun, though. Looks like I might also have torps, which... bugger. Well, good to know going under the water really isn't viable here. Just taking so much damage. Please, one of you be a fragment and enter. Yes. No? What happened to some of those shells? I swear they all hit. Oh dear. You don't appear to actually be shooting despite the fact you're doing the animation for shooting, which is interesting. 313,000 damage then, though, which is good. Okay, so the guns... Ooh. Okay, the gun's been chunked. Curse you, shields. Okay, another internal... In fact, 2 internal fragment hits there. There's like some more engine stuff went down, but no AI. Please hit the AI wherever it is. So much EMP resistance in this thing. What I need to do is swap sides. Lovely, another fragment going inside. So far the fragments have been really good in this fight, so I might swap the back gun for fragment as well. Currently it's just pure explosive. Oh, we just need to hit the right spot. We are shredding the innards, but we keep shredding the same spots. We need to take out the missiles at the back, and we need to take out the AI, wherever that actually is. And low health, we have a victory. What a fun fight. Yeah, I need to double check all my turrets. I've got armor on the turret itself, then I've got an air gap, then I've got layered armor, so I don't really know what else I can really do. I know I need to use heavy armor wedges more, but that's something which I don't really have space for on the innards. Definitely on the turret cap, though. But the turret caps were fine. The turret caps didn't go down. It was the innards that went down. I don't think that's enough to repair, but there is a resource zone I think I saw somewhere. Lovely. Let's go there and heal up. Stop bouncing so much. Seriously? Ow. I did ask you to fire at the base, but at this point, I'll take any hit. Hitting this thing has been a nightmare. Okay, that was nice at least. A few more hits there and I'll let go of the main craft. So this has been a very annoying fight. I've actually removed a lot of the smoke defense and I kind of forgot to replace it. Wasn't even a choice I made, just purely forgot when I changed up a lot of the armor. That was nice again. Please keep doing that. It's killing me with finger guns. Its laser is pretty worthless, but that particle cannon every time is just cutting huge chunks into me. Thankfully, most of the guns are still online. This thing's expensive as well, so getting this kill will fully repair me, I think. But please, stop with the particle cannon. You know what? Back to firing at the torso, you're just getting no hits. I didn't do that. What happened then? Did it fire at itself? I feel like the particle cannon may have just misfired. It just lost health out of no- Oh, look at the fragments when they actually land. Everything is beautiful. Okay, now go for the base. The water's finally calmed down. It looks like... I don't know why it's in the water, honestly. I thought I was hitting the torso more, but hit the base. This fight has been going on for like 7 minutes. So enemy spawned in straight after that fight called the Terawatt. It seems to be struggling with the water, and also it seems to not be able to hit us while we're underwater. So you know what? I'm just going to let it keep on firing its missiles and wasting it all while I slowly repair up. Thankfully I was correct. That thing cost so much, it has gave me enough resources, I think, for a full repair. Okay, so occasionally it hits me, but still. It's got to be wasting a lot of ammo with that many missiles though, right? Well, another enemy has appeared. Why must everything be bouncy? I don't know, but apparently that's just the lore of this difficulty. Okay, finally a good fragment hit there. I'm hearing explosions. Oh. Where did these things come from? Are you firing torps at me? Ah, okay. Change target. This is actually the bigger threat. The reef shark. Well, didn't think it'd have full munition defense as well, but apparently it does. Now I'm very thankful for the fragment/kinetic CRAM shells we have. Ooh, what have we done? Why are you suddenly struggling to move? Have I done some internal damage? Because I'm fine with that. Those small torps are actually doing very, very little. There we go. Its movement seems to be a bit weird now, which isn't necessarily a good thing, mind you, because it means it's going to be even more difficult to hit. Trying to stay as close as we can. If we let it get to range, that's more of an advantage for it than us. I'm just happy we're actually surviving all these hits. Yay for being tanky. Big old block of armor. Ah, we've hit its engine. Okay. Just keep hitting the same spot. Now the outer armor is gone. Please just keep on working your way through the core. Or hit its propellers altogether. That would be nice as well. These little bounces it does is really annoying. Oh, don't go through the portal. Do not go through the portal. You'll end up losing all this resource. Which you definitely need at this point. Or do I? Wow, I have just weathered the storm so surprisingly well. Lovely. I would say difficulty 60 has been conquered. There is the enemy all the way over there, which I think is just the torso. I could go and collect that as well. That's probably worth a good chunk of resource. Difficulty 60 versus the Warlord and another target. Apparently I just can't have any fight that isn't 2v1. Well, not necessarily 2v1, but an outright brawl. Okay, that thing's a lot smaller than the Warlord. Now, the Warlord used to have loads of shields on the front, though to be fair, the last time I've seen the Warlord, it didn't have particle cannons, and it certainly has them now. That wasn't great. So yeah, a lot of them bounced off the shield. Thankfully, a lot of them still exploded, and at least one of the fragments went inside the target. Lots of random little things thrown off there. If we're lucky, some of those are going to be particle cannon sections. Unless, where does the cannon actually start? Not entirely sure. If we're lucky, some of them got taken out, but I'm not entirely convinced. Really need to reinstall our smoke defense. That would be messing up their laser targeting right now, which would be great. Okay, so, nope, all of them are still very much online. Okay, still hitting the front, which is great. The missiles from the other target are going after this one, which is disrupting their munition defense missiles. Being thrown off course a little bit there, which isn't great. I want every single weapon firing, please. Just keep on tanking. We're a lot tankier than we used to be. If a couple of fragment shots manage to get through that centerpiece, we could just win this outright. If their cannons are gone, we're good to go. Perfect. Okay, at least one of our shots hit exactly where I wanted it to then. Oh! Yep, fragments are fantastic at internal damage. ICPIDs. That thing's going under the water. I am going to follow suit for the time being. Get closer to the next target. I couldn't catch up with the other enemy, and honestly, it has lots of point defense by the looks of things. I might be wrong there, but I have loads of resource after that Warlord kill, so I've just gone to difficulty 65, and now we can make use of that extra money. Okay, we're back in the sandbox mode. What we're going to be doing here quickly is just adding some of the defenses back. So this is the smoke dispensers and laser warners against laser stuff, obviously. And then we're also going to add some missile systems, not to do damage, so it won't break the rules by any stretch of the imagination, but instead, simply to add decoys. So the decoys, let's just go like that, are in utility, and they are, there we go, the radar target simulator. That means any of the missiles which have the active radar seekers, which is most of them, should hopefully be distracted by some of these simulators if they're big enough. Bear in mind, we are a very, very large craft, so we do need a fair bit more than that. I believe if you stack them, it works. Let's just have a quick double check. Yeah, there we go, the max radar simulator signal strength increases each time, so we are going to need some pretty large missiles. But hopefully, it should work. Perfect. Now, here's the thing. You may notice the missiles are getting damaged. That's purely from the physical impact of actually sometimes colliding with the distraction sticks. I'm going to allow that, because it's not an interceptor on our missiles, which would make this significantly more effective. It's not from an explosion from our missiles. It's actually the damage of the enemy simply whacking into it. It's pure kinetic from just that occasionally happening. And honestly, it doesn't matter too much, because we're still not taking them out, and that's not the main purpose of these things. It's more just to throw the missiles off course. And it seems like they are working, which is lovely to see. Now, these things are large missiles, not medium missiles, because it turns out we've got a very big craft, and our radar signature is way too high. Okay, good enough. So, for the most part, it will distract a small volley of missiles. That's more than enough for us, especially later on when we have heat missiles and everything else, which can be utterly devastating. We are pretty well protected against heat, but yeah, that can just destroy whole sections of internals. I'm allowing this. Debate it in the comments if you wish, but I'm allowing this. Because what I could very easily do is simply go with a missile... Where are you? Oh, can larger missiles not be interceptors? I mean, I guess it makes sense in a way. I just thought you could. I know medium can be interceptors, but I guess large missiles are the exempt size, that and bigger. Yeah, there we are, missile interceptor. Because that'll actually deal damage. Yeah, these things don't deal damage, it's just damage from the physical impact occasionally. And it's just fun, so allowing it, continuing on. Oh, well, I didn't expect that. I do have sonars, so I will be able to aim at it once we're close enough. I've just turned off the AI for the time being because we'll just be missing, honestly. Good to know it will eventually surface again. It does make a noise. How bizarre is that? What a cool design. I am so sorry for what is about to happen, oh super cute difficulty 70 turtle. Yeah, it was firing torps at us, but they were not particularly strong, and I managed to dodge all its cram shots, and... Oh, it just removed the face! No! That's horrible! Such a cool design, though. I love the fact it, like, surfaces to fire its CRAM cannons, which I guess are in here. Oh, what an awesome design. I'm so sorry. Whoa, good job we added smoke defense. I was not paying attention to this at all. I was literally just on the phone with someone. And I came back to this. Yeah, don't underestimate the adventure mode. Sometimes there'll be nothing for a while, then suddenly, ow. Ah, just about missed. What a shame for the first attack. Thank you, smoke defense, though. Well, only one shell hit, but it was a lot of stuff chunked off. Oh, what a shame. So close. Oh, no, definitely broke one of the jets. Shame it wasn't one of the fragment shots. So this thing's worth about 600k, so we're definitely seeing more expensive things. Still want to see that red portal, though. This fight is never going to end. Oh no, finally low materials. Never mind. Complain and suddenly it works. So, this took like 8 minutes. It was kind of ridiculous. What happened was, in those early shots, I broke this jet, which meant it got further and further away from me. Look at this distance now. And kept on not being able to course correct, so it was doing some weird wiggly patterns. My shells would miss, it would fire its laser doing nothing because smoke defense, and the particle cannon isn't particularly accurate, and for the most part missed as well. Occasionally I'll get hits. That's why we finally won, because we kept breaking off the arm or hitting the torso, and it couldn't repair forever. But wow, that was... I'm so glad I cut almost all that out in editing. Jeez. Please get some hits while it's close, that'll be great. Okay, lovely 248,000 damage. Mostly just metal. Oh no, saying that one, the steam engines just went bye-bye. Do I bother trying to turn after this thing, or do I just keep on staying still waiting for it to round us again? I'm thinking that's wise. Oh wow, we did more than I thought then with that first stack. Oh yeah, we caught it. Battery's gone as well. I wonder if it also took out some of those missile systems it fired. Hold your fire. No need to waste ammo if that thing's going down anyway. Maybe it's not. Please hit. Oh, something else has arrived. That thing's using lasers. You know what? Yeah, target the one even if it's far away. Not another twin guard, please. I love twin guard, but fighting them with CRAM is just hideously annoying. Oh my god, that thing's worth over 1 million. Y'all heard of going underwater? Let's try and get close. Well, it aims at the other thing. Okay, not terrible for our first few attacks. Managed to get quite close, but the problem is as I got close enough... Oh, look at those fragments doing what I wanted them to do. I was about to say the problem is it does have an EMP particle cannon as a belt, interestingly, which did just take out some of my weapons before I resurfaced, so thanks for that. Okay, just target the torso. Looks like it can't turn the torso anymore for whatever reason. Because it's completely broken. AI dead. Oh, I love those fragments so much. The next CRAM I add is going to be another fragment one. I never knew how good depth fuse fragment CRAM cannons were. At this point, we cast almost 900,000, so because of that, I am going to go through the blue portal. The blue portal will take us into a safe zone, but after that will also rocket us up by 20 difficulty points, meaning we're going to be in difficulty 90. The average in 90 is 999,000, the most expensive is 1,380,000, so yeah, we're going to be absolutely fine there in terms of balance. Though it is about time we start adding a back to this craft. I just wanted to keep on adding more and more to this sort of weapon tower, but yeah, let's make this into a ship and not just half a ship, eh? I've jumped on over to sandbox mode rather than building in the blue portal zone, just because this way there's no rocking around with the waves and I become far less nauseous. So what we're gonna do then is probably very little this back section. It's mostly going to be there as a decoy for enemies to shoot at rather than the front. It's probably going to have a couple of the small turrets, which so far have just been good all the way through the game, and I'm really happy with them. Probably going to be kinetic, or fragments, or a hybrid. And then I'm going to be moving the engines and everything else into this section in the middle. Since it won't house one of the much larger guns, this is all going to be safe to just layer and layer armor, so I'm moving all the vitals from the front into the core of the back, for the most part, and adding a couple of weapons. Then I'm going to finally add some more pellets to the back here, and probably make it a little bit sharper, though not by much. Yeah. Then I'll consider adding a steam turbine, just because that would be cool. It's been half an hour since that last clip, and all I've done is practice making steam engines, because I completely forgot how to make them, and one thing I've concluded is They're very expensive, at least relatively. I've spawned in some other designs, some other godly designs to make sure I'm not just doing things completely wrong, and yeah, very, very high priced. So although I am going to be making a steam engine, it's likely going to have an off switch, and then we're also going to have normal propellers. So we'll use the steam engine if we need a burst of speed, but other than that, we are going to be sticking with our regular fuel engines and our RTGs for the vast majority of the movement of our bathtub. Now, the bathtub is almost complete shape-wise, so I think you can at least see how this thing is going to end up. I'm decently happy with it. I just don't know how I'm going to build up the superstructure at the back. We definitely don't have enough to build up the whole thing, because yeah, we just don't. But we can at least armor up top so things can't get in too easily, and then again I'm going to be moving all the vitals back a little bit and making sure this section down here is super heavily armored. So at least things are a bit more spread out on the craft. At the moment, if you hit anywhere, you're almost certainly going to hit a vital. By spreading it across all of this craft, it's going to be a lot harder to take this thing down. In theory. So one thing we could do is this. Currently, all the steam valves are set to off, at least near the actual boiler itself. If we go above 15 meters per second, the main valve turns on, which then allows the steam to re-enter everything else and then turn on the main propellers. The propellers are worth a magnitude more than a single of the smaller propellers, and even though we're a very large craft, we can get above 20 meters per second very easily, which is pretty good, especially once we're underwater, since it's a lot more difficult to make us move at any real speed while underwater, and this would be a kind of speed boost that we need. That's just one option. I could have set it so I manually press a button and the main valve turns on, this valve right here. It's all a bit spread out at the moment, ignore that, that's because I'm still testing. But you get the idea. We have it essentially as a speed boost rather than the main form of propulsion, otherwise we're going to end up just using up too much material. There's a lot of space in this game where we aren't actually fighting. It's fine for the enemies to be burning that much material during combat, but since we're not always in combat, we do need an on and off switch. And thankfully, the valves are really good for that. Okay, so heavily defended all the steam engine parts. The steam engines are underneath this weird grate I've built for some reason, and then I've re-added the regular propellers. I've still got it set up so if we go above 15 meters per second they kick in, and if we go below that they'll simply turn off, so that should be fine. Still might make it a on-off switch for the future, but that's fine. I've also double-checked, and I've made sure that the steam engines themselves will always have priority over the control blocks I have, so these steam valves will still turn off if everything's damaged. That way we don't end up just wasting loads of resources, steam belts into the sky. So I don't actually have that much resource left to play with, especially for the size of this thing, so what I'm going to do is build a really weird bridge a bit too far back on the craft, and just build a really simple superstructure, so a not very super superstructure. And with that, let's get to the next difficulty, which should either be 90 or 95, I can't quite remember. Well, I wanted to get closer to this thing. The first fight in difficulty 90, we are versus the Thresher Shark, and yeah, it's actually hitting us now with its railgun. Fantastic. Oh, did I turn that on a bit too early? I think we might have still been under the water. Please say we weren't. And no, it missed anyway. In fact, it went over the target. Yeah, there's the other problem. Look, as it's backing up from us, it's bouncing around in these waves. The weather at the moment is atrocious. These waves are bigger than it, and this is a 1 million resource enemy. I guess we'll just have to fight long range, which definitely isn't great for us, considering how slow our shells are. All these little movements from the waves and everything else. Yeah, we're going miles off. I don't know what else I meant to do. Okay, one internal hit there. Sadly, nothing too important being on. If that was on the front, I'd have been a lot happier. Oh my god, look how much damage that's doing against us. That is horrible to see. Let's just focus on the enemy. I'm not being hit by a railgun every second. Yeah, it looks like I'm pretty accurate. It's just the constant small movements which is really throwing us off. Did you just dodge the bridge then, like on either side? That was really impressive. Okay, so the enemy does have munition defense, also has very good shields. Most of our physical ones are being bounced away, which isn't good, to say the least. Okay, that was a really good shot, though. Didn't take out the gun, but there was a lot of damage under... Oh, so close to taking out the gun, though. Okay. One of the barrels is gone. We've definitely done some damage versus the railgun. In fact, has it just stopped? That's all it took. Just one good shot there, and I think it's pretty much over. First enemy of difficulty 90. I mean, it's... Okay, it's still firing those. I'm hoping that my distraction missiles work against them. Should I try and get closer now, or just... keep going with this? We are breaking it apart. Is that another Thresher heading towards us? Oh, that's just rude.
Engaging now.
Well, the first one's down to just firing missiles, which aren't actually landing because of our distractions, so I guess... change targets, though I really hope some time to repair. The front gun's gone, loads of damage everywhere. Not great. Is it reversing into us? Don't know if that's a power move or just rude. Either way, it's weird. Well, apparently the first one's now low materials, and now we're having to fight the whole thing again. I'm currently on 85% health. I mean, I'm still happy that most of my guns are functioning. I'm proud of that at least, but this might be the end, honestly. Unless we get some really good early shots in. I guess we have exposed the gun here, so come on, hit there. Just please hit there. Okay, once again, looks like we've damaged half of this one's railgun. It's all very deja vu at this point. We're still going though, and again, I'm pretty happy with how well all the internals and the weapons in this thing are holding up. One thing I've learned very quickly here though, is that those frag guns need inertial fuses. I didn't add them because it reduces the max health by 10%. But that extra frag damage of when they bounce away, simply detonating and shearing off armor would have been so helpful in this fight. How is that barrel still firing? Is it hitting us anymore, or is it just gone? Okay, 2 Thresher Sharks down, I think. We won that through sheer, just complete stubbornness. There was no skill, there was no excellent building or tactics, it was just pure stubborn, brutish metal. How are we looking? Oh my god, you're missing so many things! I was just incredibly unhappy and then incredibly happy back to back. So right now, I still am not fully repaired. I've actually sacrificed some of my guns, as you can see, to make sure that some of the guns are fully online. So the one at the front and the 2 main guns are currently functional, along with some of the ones on the right side. My idea was I'll just broadside the enemy. Then summoned a blackcurrant. This is a very, very big, very, very scary submarine. Something which CRAM cannons are not famously very good against, so I was gonna run for the red portal. However, I don't think this thing can fire at things underwater. So what I've done is I've lowered my height in the water, I am going towards it, and my hoping is I will get so close to it it'll start running away, and if we can catch up with it, and I've put propellers everywhere, we might be able to actually beat it using CRAM cannons. Which will be one of the weirdest things ever, to be completely honest. Still a little bit higher than I expected, but okay. Oh, this is beautiful and so very stupid. I just wanted the resource zone so I'd get back to 100%, then I was going to go to the next difficulty, but okay, if this is how I'm going to get my resource instead, then so be it. I feel so bad for the creators of the Blackcurrant, because I know this thing is absolutely fantastic and deadly, and I'm about to be very mean to it and very unfair to it, and I do apologise. Let's see if we can stop it from moving quite so much. How did that not stop the movement? That's just pure armour. How did the kinetic shell hit only armour? Or did it? No, they're still moving. But it does seem to be moving wrong now. Maybe I broke something. Suddenly very glad for those steam engines at the back. We can actually move decently quickly. I need to manually roll to make sure we don't hit ourselves with the manual fire. I don't trust the AI to fire these guns underwater because CRAM doesn't compensate for the water very well with the AI, so we're likely going to really undershoot it. Okay, just one propeller left. Then that is an immobilized blackcurrant. If nothing else, it'll actually just run out of resources trying to fire at me. I could have swore it had some anti-sub stuff, so I was getting ready for that, but maybe it just has like anti-torp stuff? I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. If I throw these out. Oh, yep, there we go. So it has anti-torps. Cool. This isn't moving now, is it? Good. Okay, so where do I fire? I have no idea where the AI is on this thing. The AI is on this thing. I know it has lots of very good armor, though, so I would think here. Because everywhere else is weapons. So let's get in front of it. A direct hit from that gun is just so deadly. I mean, it didn't kill it that time, but I'm imagining any other defenses are now gone, and I'm assuming the AI is going to be hit. Oh, yep, there it is. Actually, is it the AI, or is this just a repository for all the sonar stuff? It could just be for that. It's hard to tell. Either way, I'm going to fire at it again as soon as the reload's finished. Wish that both of these were kinetic, sadly one's explosive, so it's detonating way too early. Like I said before, it doesn't compensate, sadly, so it is what it is. Oh, there's not a chance, is there? I really didn't actually think we would kill that thing's AI with a CRAM. Yeah, I really didn't think so, but still, I would have had to jump off straight away while still firing. If we captured that, that would have been ridiculous. But you know what? I'm kind of glad we didn't, because this way we've gone through this whole run without a capture. So I was at a resource zone, gathering resource to finish off all the upgrades I need, since I had just about enough to fully repair. And then our fourth enemy in difficulty 90 is another blackcurrant. Again, an enemy which simply can't fight us. So I guess rather than the resource zones, I'll kill another blackcurrant and then go through the red portal to difficulty 95, where I'm going to do probably my final retrofit. I should have like between 100 and 200,000 resources spare after this fight. That's really good, but also kind of anticlimactic. I was hoping for one more normal fight before 95, but this is what it's going to be. This is the most over-the-top... Oh, another vehicle's just spawned in, seriously. Either way, this is the most over-the-top capture I think I've ever done. Because capturing fragments without using EMP is very difficult. Surely that worked, right? Yes! Okay! So here we are, our craft is currently worth almost 1 million on the dot, and we have more than that currently in our storage. I didn't think I'd get that much, I swear. So I'm really glad I went through the blue portal, because I don't feel anywhere near as cheesy, because I've just skipped another difficulty, and we're going straight into difficulty 100. I've done this twice now to skip difficulties, so I don't feel too bad about this. Yeah, I have 1,234,275 resources. Now, according to my outdated table, the average for 100 is 1.5 mil. However, the highest cost is 2.1 mil. So, I think I'm going to allow myself to get to 1,800,000 or 1,700,000, something like that. That way I'm not on the absolute highest, I'm above average by a marginal amount, but we're still likely to see 2 mil enemies, and that is an outdated chart, and I know for a fact there are other 2 million ones out there, because I've seen them before, so I think that's fair. I also don't want to spend a whole day retrofitting this thing, so adding the extra 700,000 is likely going to be a lot more armor and reworks and stuff like that, because there are still large air gaps when nothing's happening, and then probably just going to be copy and pasting some of the main guns at the back here. I'm thinking this one, which I really like, the fragment kinetic, I'm going to have 2 more of them, one here, make sure it's all well armored up, and then just armor up the back, add some of the small guns as distractions and backups, and that's about it. So, I'll be back soon. So here's the thing, I don't know how I want to end this craft. Originally, in my head, I had something like the bulwark. Actually, now spawning the bulwark, let me just quickly check the weapons. Reload time 26, kinetic is far less than ours, but explosive is actually less than our frag damage. Okay, so these aren't quite as strong as ours, that makes sense. This thing's only worth half a mil, we're currently worth 1 mil, so naturally the weapons on ours are bigger. The point is, though, this is how I originally wanted it to be. But what I've learned in the adventure mode very quickly is having weapons like this is such a weakness. Most enemies will be faster than me, and generally just be either at the front or the back, and half the weapons won't be able to fire. Trying to get a good broadside with CRAM is difficult because how slow CRAM shells are. So I think we should go more like this. This is the Stronghold, the Onyx Watch's biggest craft, a very expensive one, as you can imagine, and is actually lagging out my game. This thing is just, if I recall correctly, loads of air gaps, really big missiles, and then just loads of these lovely CRAM cannons. Oh, that's weaker than ours as well, but I guess the whole point is it has lots of them, so more chances to actually hit. I don't really like the Stronghold in comparison to the Bulwark. The Stronghold's fantastic, I just think it looks like a Stronghold, looks more like a building than a vehicle. Still, absolutely fabulous. I think we're going to end up as a weird cross of the two. I don't want to go as wide as the Stronghold, but I also don't want to have a broadsiding only cannons with our little command section here blocking them. So we're going to have this one here. We're going to bring, I guess we're going to bring out all of the side a little bit so we can have another 2 cannons. Unless we just have the small cannons, which can fit pretty much anywhere. I'm not too sure. We do want more of the main cannons though. The main cannons are the things which actually get things done. Okay, not bad. So I just wanted to see what would happen if the full payload hit something. This was the Warlord from the Grey Talons. Not entirely sure how it caused an AI death there, honestly. That wasn't the best hit I've seen, but okay, sure. So I have mixed in some EMP, though not very much. That could very well be why it's now AI dead. These 2 small guns on the front are both EMP, as are these at the back. I have mixed in some more of these guns. This is a larger variant of the small side guns, and there are now 4 at the back. This whole section has been super heavily armoured, and we just need to complete this back section, then all that's done, then I'm going to see how much resource I have left. Because at that point, we might finally actually add some shields. So there's 2 shield types. The first type is the one I'm more used to, which is the projector. And that's the one you see a lot in the game. Let's just pop it over here so we can actually see it properly. And you can make this invisible, etc., and it tends to bounce things off, especially at better angles. But the idea is, yeah, it just protects against quite a lot. Oh, also weakens lasers. Of course it does. It used to be an option. You can make it anti-laser or not. Is it just anti-everything now? Interesting. Okay, well that's one of the options anyway, and I could do a real simple version of this by simply putting one of these on each of the turrets, and then having a manual on-off button, and that would be nice and easy. That way the turrets themselves have a little bit more protection on the turret cap, which is obviously the main weak spot of each of these turrets, even though I've tried my best to reinforce them. The second type of shield is this. It's a ring shield. So how this works is it takes power and it increases the, is it the armor or the health? Either way, it makes regular armor sturdier. And there we are, ring strength plus 3.1 to the armor class. Can you make it stronger at all, or is it just, that's how it works? Or is it the size of the shield which makes it stronger? As you can probably tell by these questions, I haven't really played around with these before, to be completely honest. They're not something I find particularly interesting in comparison to a lot of other stuff, and because of that I am woefully misinformed of how these work. Okay, there we are. And okay, so now it's 4.8, the armor class. Total area modified to, okay. Interesting. I think I'll go with the standard shield type though, because it's more fun. Okay, shields are up. I've done a few tests and they seem fine at this angle. I think I should really make them slightly more severe, but the problem is a lot of enemies are going to be attacking us straight up, whereas some are going to be attacking from this angle, so I don't really know where the best angle should be for the front section. They seem to deflect like 1 in 5 shots, which is more than enough for me. This is just an extra bit of defense on top of all of the armor stacking. Okay, let's turn them off. There we are, lovely, all nice and manually controlled. So all I need to do now is the back section and double check all the armor around all the different weapons. I've been doing some stress tests against various types of weaponry, and honestly, it all seems fine. It takes a long time to take out everything on this craft, so hopefully we can just out-survive something and brawl them to death. That's the tactic. Currently we are at 1.5 mil, we'll probably end up as 1.7, 1.8, depending on how much extra stuff I add now. Really close to our final form. I mean, it isn't a work of art, but it'll do. Just a few more decorations, just to make the back section look like it's got some purpose. It's actually hiding quite a lot of stuff. The RTGs I've got left, 3 of the 6 engines, and the resource storage along with some of the AI is now hidden in the back. We have 2 AI separately. Gonna just raise the lip of this around a little bit, and I don't know what else to do other than just a quick bit of a paint job. It's lumpy, but it's ass. We're about to hit difficulty 100, and so we have our 1.8 million cost battleship. We have in grand total 5 of these larger small cannons, so medium cannons, 2 of which are using EMP, which I believe are these 2 back ones, and the rest using kinetic and fragments. We then have the triple barrel cannons, all 4 of them, which honestly are actually pretty good in all the tests I've done. I'm very happy with these things, all kinetic and fragments, and then we have a mixture of small cannons which are all using high explosive, except for a couple of them which are using pure kinetic purely to get through enemy munition defense, because otherwise they're just going to be shredded to pieces. On top of that, we still have our missile distractors, we have loads of armor, we have loads of RTGs and batteries, although we do also have 6 fuel engines and the steam engine at the back as backups. I think we're a good, sturdy craft. We look weird. We've got weird angles everywhere, and we're bulbous and bizarre, but that's really my build style. And as you can see, it's very, very stable in the water. It's very good with its roll and pitch controls. It sits quite low in the water, so I'm hoping the waves die down a little bit, otherwise I'll have to go a little bit higher than that. And we actually slightly tip forwards. This just means the guns have a best chance of actually firing, considering I've built the barrels very close to their front weapons armor. All checks done. Here we go into difficulty 100. I'm instantly going to activate the adventure bell. What do we have to fight us? Not in front of us, which isn't great for a start. Just off to the right, we have... I don't know. Steel Stride is definitely the Megalodon. Ah, I remember you being very, very scary. And probably has loads of point defense. Well, can it see us? Yes, it can. You know what? No more going underwater. Fire everything. Odds of those hitting? I'm going to say pretty low. Yeah, it changed its speed. Oh, and it has an amazing munition defense. Yeah, of course it does. What do I do then? Do I go underwater and try to get closer to try and mitigate that, or do I just keep going full speed ahead towards it and try to essentially ram the thing? I mean, we're not taking massive amounts of damage back at the moment. I'm thinking just keep on trucking forwards and hope for the best. Please. Yes, that's what I wanted to see. 402,000 kinetic damage. Some explosive, a tiny little bit of EMP. Particle cannons damage, those on the side, I think. Missile system just critically destroyed. I'm hoping some connections have been broke to that, but it's hard to say. Well, the front of my craft's taking a battering. Thankfully, that's mostly just armor and nothing else. So, yeah, you keep on hitting those there. And distraction sticks, I love you. You are the best things in the game. I'm so glad I made this thing faster as well. That steam engine may be burning away my materials, but it's worth every material burnt. Still stopping a lot of the shells. It's not going deep enough. The heavy armor stopping some of those kinetics, though we are starting to damage these particle cannons. Even as a single block destroyed will stop a particle cannon from firing properly, so that's great. There's nothing there. Is that a railgun? I don't know where this weapon actually is. I don't understand that one. Oh, it's been... I can't remember hitting that. That one hasn't fired in a while, so I'm guessing we've stopped that one as well. Fragments! Love them! We, though, are already down to 75% health with some guns damaged. We are losing materials for repairs and ammunition. This is a true war of attrition, nothing else. Those shells landed. Munition defense is down. The back munition defense is properly down now. If single shells are making it, yep, wonderful. I just saw a little bit of laser damage, but not much, so I'm going to hold firing again. Do I want to go for its engines? If we can get closer, that's probably better. Yeah, I think range is its friend, not ours. Those torps are slowly going to kill us. That was terrible. I hurt myself a lot there because I was catching a wave and didn't realise. On the upside, another good hit though in terms of just sheer damage on the target. Just allowing the AI to have full control except for this front gun because apparently it's been disconnected somehow. I don't know how it's happened. Lovely! Goodbye to one more propeller. I'm just going to try and fire at the core. We are both looking so badly damaged at this point. It's practically turned us into a submarine. We've got so many holes in our craft and so many propellers damaged. We're kind of... yeah, we're mostly underwater. Oh, looks like the Megalodon is joining us underwater now. So many wedges. Though I do love the fact we've now stopped its forward movement, so we can properly just anchor down and fire. I'm also not seeing any more torps. Have we just out-survived this thing? Too low. Yep, it's sinking. It's sinking and too damaged. I mean, I would have much preferred a AI death or something, but yeah, I mean, look at it. So, in the end, we won, and it wasn't firing back, so we definitely just won outright, even without the health too low thing. I am on 78%, it is on 80%, which means, technically speaking, if this was a fight in the sandbox mode, it would have won. Not me, it. Because if you're below 80% and under the water, you lose. Even though I was still firing and it wasn't, it just had more health near the end, it could just survive more. I was going with just bulk armor, it was going with smarter armor, but still, I am really happy with that. We beat the Megalodon even if we had to chase it, which was weird for this thing. We've had a kill in difficulty 100. I win. Look at that. So he took about 20% damage, but it was all on the underside of the craft. Did not expect that for the final fight. You know, I do love a bit of vengeance, and that Megalodon, the new one that just spawned in, is about to get some, so well done for it. Yeah, there's no chance. We could just about survive those front cannons the first time we ran in with shields and full health and everything else. This time around, my shields are damaged, and there is no chance I'm gonna get close enough to do anything. Yeah, in fact, stop firing at the moment. You're currently underwater and going off just your sonar, so you're A, missing, and B, missing. Is there any chance we're going to be able to get underneath this thing? Because that would be funny if we could get some hits before we go. There's no way we're going above the water anymore, we're just too damaged for that, so we're going to just slowly sink towards it like some kind of corpse. A very angry, bloated one. It's obvious at this point I really should have made some distraction sticks for the torpedoes. I don't know why. In my head, I had it set so if I was fighting a submarine at the end, they would have torpedoes, and that would just be the end of the game, honestly. There's no way I'm beating a proper submarine. So I didn't bother with them, and I bothered on other things. I'm now realizing how much better this fight would have gone with those distraction sticks, but down. Also, am I just sinking properly now? Yeah, I don't think I'm getting out of the water at this point. Oh no, I'm trying to manually get myself out of the water and think I'll be able to, just about. Let's see if we can do one more shot at this thing. It's not going to work because it currently has its munition defense fully functioning, and you can just see my front there melting because torpedoes. Lots of torpedoes. But after all this, I'm not going down without a fight. It's funny it was the Megalodon which ended up killing us. A, because we already killed one, but also I really expected it to be something like the Singularity or the... Oh, what's the really big, strong one? The Dire Harvest? Whatever it's called, with all the guns. I never think about the Steel Striders, but they are terrifying. Please, any damage at all? No. We bravely continue to move towards it, though. We scored a hit! It may have only been a scratch, but we scored a hit. Good enough. How did that not hurt me? Oh, the Heartstone's down. Is that a chunk of my craft? So, I think I figured out why the railguns had such a tough time with that craft. I think they're pure impact. Which is really powerful, but as you can see, it's leaving the guns behind because I'm built to withstand that type of damage. Ah, well. What a fantastic run. I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. This was an absolute joy to make, even if it did take far longer than I expected to record, and... yeah, just really hope you enjoy. So if you have, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff. Helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. And any suggestions for other challenge runs are very welcome. Simple weapons, space only, so many different options. Thank you, have a lovely day, do take care, and now, I'm off to bed. It's currently 3 AM.